Hello and welcome. Welcome to episode 12 of Brits and Yanks Talk Trek, what some people call episode 12 of Brits and Yanks Talk Trek. Thank you so much. My name is Lube, and as you know, this is a podcast for Trekkies, Trekkers, and absolutely everything in between, brought together with a little love and obsession, as it were, about a little game called Star Trek Fleet Command. But today we're going to be talking about many aspects of Star Trek Fleet Command, and the cultural differences between the US and the UK. Please, 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 our amazing community is only growing every single week, and I thank you for that. But we want you to get more involved. We want you to be suggesting topics to the panelists. We want you to be giving us ideas and opinions and suggestions of what you would like to actually hear. Because at the end of the day, it's a community show and it's nothing without the listeners. It's just a bunch of people rabbiting on about cultural differences and Star Trek, which is what we like. Please do me a favour and share this with a friend. So somebody at home, in your lines, Discord, work, school, anywhere. Just share this with a friend and let's try and spread it out a little bit. Consider becoming a member as well. Obviously, we do have memberships available at itslube.com, where you can sign up for just, last say, a month. For $3 a month, you can sign up and help towards financially into the production of this podcast and everything that we do here at It's Lube, and obviously leave us a review as well. So first of all, as you know, I'm here, but let's go through the panel on who's here itself. We've got Mr. Perfection himself. Silvers, how's your day been? Happy Saturday.
It's been semi-productive.
Done some farming?
How you doing? I did some farming, did some homework, productive stuff, non-productive stuff. You can kind of pick what's which.
I'm sure we could talk about that. We've got the king of the graphic himself. We've got Candy. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been kind of a layabout today, just getting caught up on naps today.
Caught up on, I like that. I've never done that. Everybody always calls me lazy when I take a nap. But if I say I need to get caught up on sleep, that's potentially a good way around actually taking a nap. Like it. We've got the Tribble Mother herself, Minnie. How are you at this side of the pond? Weather's been all right today? Not been bad?
It's not been bad. I got some real gardening done, and then I got some virtual gardening done.
I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point during the pod as well. And I am delighted to say that we are inviting back the professor himself. We've got Putzz. Welcome back, buddy. Become a bit of a regular at this, aren't you? Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. Every time I'm on here, I walk away going, man, that was fun. I want to do it again.
You see, we walk away and think, when the hell do we have to do that again? So, I mean, that's quite good. You're probably the most enthusiastic. I'm joking. That's definitely not the word.
Well, you're not wrong.
So welcome everybody to Brits and Yanks Talk Trek. I have got a really little PSA for everybody. I am, due to work commitments, obviously I have a full-time job, I do all that sort of thing. I am shifting the podcast frequency from weekly to fortnightly, starting at the moment. So I'm sorry if that disappoints people, but what it allows us to do is probably have a more regular schedule, because we struggle to get two in. Obviously, please just understand that we have people obviously from both sides of the pond. We either have to record it really late for the US guys, or really late for the UK guys, really late for the US guys. It just has to fit into some of our schedules. So we are shifting it to fortnightly. So if you're wondering why the episodes are going down from 4 a month to a couple of months, if we can get any bonus ones in and we can do some weekly, we will absolutely do that. But just so that you're aware that you may be seeing a little bit less of us, but only because obviously we want to make sure that what we do is regular to keep it up there. But let's start off with our Star Trek topic of the pod. Thank you so much, everybody, for your contributions to this. And I'm looking forward to this. This is a bit of a sort of pie in the sky, what do you think type thing. So if you could build a ship from Star Trek in real life, what would it be? So when you think to yourself, all of the different classes of ship, and we've not limited this to Federation ships, this could be Cardassian, Klingon, anything like that. But what ship do you think that you would want to actually own, whether that be as the captain of it, whether that be of just an engineer of it, whatever position you think you would want to be. But what ship from Star Trek piques your interest to the point where you think, I want to build that? Do you know what I mean? I want to be inside that. Phrasing. Do you know what I mean? Let's just think about that. How do we want to work with it? So, Silvers, what do you think? Tell us about what ship in real life, what would you want to build if you could? What would be the first ship you would ever build?
Book's ship.
Okay.
From Discovery.
Okay.
The reason that I love that ship is because it is limited only by the imagination of the captain or the pilot, whoever is controlling the ship. Because of the programmable matter and how that works, you can just have pre-designed layouts of the ship that can just be changed in an instant.
Yeah.
And I just love that aspect of it.
There's infinite possibilities, isn't there, with it? And the other thing I really like about it, I love the holodeck crew, the holographic crew, because I mean, I speak to people all day, every day. Sometimes it's quite nice just to be on your own. And I think if I was on a 5-year, 10-year mission somewhere, I think if I had to spend 10 years with the same people in a little ship, I think I'd probably kill them. So the idea that I can have a hologram that I can just turn off, I quite like that idea of a crew. I quite like that. And I am my own best company because, I mean, let's be fair, talking to myself is the only way I can be guaranteed of intelligent conversation. So I've just got to start talking to 5 versions of myself.
Damn.
So start talking to 5 versions of myself is good. So go on then. So in terms of what you said why you would build it, but sort of how do you think, what will be your first voyage in it? Do you know what I mean? What will be the first thing that you do? You go, you build Bookship, you've got your programmable matter, you've just walked onto it, it's all ready to go. What do you do? You know what I mean? What are your first things that you would do with your ship?
That's a great question, though, one that you didn't prepare us for.
Well, you know me, I'm nothing if not unpredictable.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Just explore, I guess. And we obviously know what the Star Trek world says that there is, but we don't necessarily know everything about our own solar system, much less what's beyond that. So I would do exactly as the cast of Star Trek does, and that's just explore the galaxy.
Do you know, and just the thought of that, it sends shivers down your spine, doesn't it? Just the idea of thinking that we're going completely into the unknown where nobody else has been. For me, I think it's quite scary, the concept of potentially meeting another race. The idea of possibly meeting another sentient life form that has different, like that scares me. That scares me a bit.
The other thought would be to work with NASA or SpaceX or whatever and be able to just transmit data that they've been looking for. You get more comprehensive scans of planets and the sun and anything else within reach that we would be able to just communicate back to Earth, so that the physicists and scientists from NASA could just analyze that data and
spoken like a true engineer.
Build that model.
You just want to go and investigate and gather information, don't you? And just take that knowledge base to the next level. No, I like it. I wouldn't have expected anything different for you. Mine's, again, I don't know why this always happens, but my reason for building the ship would be a hell of a lot more selfish. And I'll come to that a little bit later.
There seems to be a theme here.
Minnie, what ship would you build? Why would you build it? And tell us about your first 10, 20 days of being in charge of that ship.
Okay, mine, I put way too much thought into this. I really went through everything. And I landed back at the Bajoran lightship. Get rid of the tech. Get rid of the need for an engineer. Get rid of the, you're literally plotting by the stars. You're relying on the environment around you to get about. It's like glamorous glamping in space.
Glamorous. That's difficult to say, isn't it? Glamorous glamping.
Glamping. So that's where I went. It was like, I really was overthinking this. It's like, well, what if I have a leak there, or that blows up? You know, when you have to look after your own lawnmowers. I really overthought this. So I went basic. I went simple. It does light speed. It can get you from one side of the system to the other.
Well, that's a very niche case of being able to reach warp speed.
It is, but she makes a really good point, because although we've built it, what if it breaks? It's not to say that we're proper engineers, is it? Do you know what I mean? She might have been thinking about this a bit more practically than we thought. And I bet it'd be a hell of a lot quieter. But is it fast enough to actually get anywhere? Because didn't it have to? If I remember rightly, the light ship that was obviously from Deep Space Nine, it was Ben and Jake that used it to get to Cardassia, mirroring a mythological journey that was done by a Bajoran explorer centuries before, when Cardassia was first discovered by the Bajorans. Is that not a bit limiting? Because it used like a slipstream, didn't it? Or like it rode solar flares. I think that's come up before on the pod. But if I remember right, it was a little bit niche, wasn't it?
Subspace stream, I think it was.
Yeah.
It is limited. But you see, I might have underthought it when I came to my internals of the ship. And as for my first journey, I'm only going to Nashville, so I don't really care. You know, as long as he gets me there, I'm fine.
God. Let's be fair, because there wasn't any replicators on it, so if you wanted to go very far, you're going to need a hell of a lot of Heinz beans.
Exactly
Hell of a
right.
lot of beans to be able to sustain your technology wise. So Minnie's off out into space in a tent, and Silver, and Silver's has got the complete opposite. He can have whatever he wants at his fingertips, which is nice. No, I like that, and I like the variance, the two differences there. We've got two total opposite ends of the technological spectrum, whereby you can do anything, or you're basically a kite with a bed. Do you know what I mean? You've picked two completely different areas. I really like that. Candy, what about you? Well, what ship would you build? Why? What would you do with it? And give us your first 20, 30 days worth of journeying. What would you do with it?
So the ship I would build would be the Dreadnought from Star Trek Into Darkness. Only from primarily from the standpoint of like journeying out space and you're exploring for the first time. You don't want to be caught in some of the situations like what the NX-01 crew was when meeting potentially hostile aliens or civilizations. You want to be able to defend yourself with extreme prejudice in the instance of something like that happening, but at the same time being able to use advanced warp capabilities to explore further out into the reaches of space versus it taking a long time if you're using like a warp 1 to a warp factor 5 type engine of the NX-01 era.
Makes sense. Go on, talk to us about your first few days in it. What's the first thing that you would go and do with your Dreadnought?
Probably would find the biggest asteroid in the solar system and blow it up.
like you took your chainsaw to that tree.
Yep.
You just got to think about destruction. But what is it specifically about the Dreadnought then? Because obviously, I mean, all the other ships have got the ability to shoot stuff and fire stuff. What is it specifically about like the Dreadnought's design that you like? What is it that made you lean towards that?
I mean, between like not only the ship being extremely self-sufficient, so if you had a very minimal crew, you'd still be able to operate it without any kind of an issue, and also just the complete suite of weaponry that the ship has available to it. We didn't get as much of a full-on taste in the movie to see what the Dreadnought was fully capable of. So I would like to kind of see or experience a full onslaught of what the Dreadnought was capable of.
No, I agree. And I suppose you've got to look at like the defensive capabilities of these things in two different ways. If we're talking about it purely in the Star Trek world, if we're sticking to Star Trek canon, we know that there's some horrible people out there. But if we're talking about it in real life, here and now, we have just built this Dreadnought ship. You have no idea what you're going to encounter at all. Do you know what I mean? You just have absolutely no idea. We think that we're on our own to a generic extent within the close regions, don't we? We haven't found any evidence of any life anywhere relatively close at all. But who's to say that we don't encounter something? So having some hella weaponry is obviously going to be something quite important in it.
Yeah, because the likelihood of somebody coming to your rescue, especially if you're one of the few ships, is very low.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would agree. Putzz, what do you think?
Okay, so I kind of came at this going, well, if I'm the only one that has this ship, like if this is, like we're not in this type 3 civilization society yet, I think I would probably have to go for a Romulan shuttlecraft.
Okay.
And I know that sounds weird.
That sounds
but
odd. But
the two things that I want is I want it to be small and I want it to be completely concealable. So I want to have a cloak and I want to be able to come down and park it in my garage.
Well, yeah, you don't want somebody to nick it, do you? No, you need to be able to lock it up, don't you?
I mean, I don't want any, NASA or, European Space Agency or whatever tracking it and going like, then I wake up the next morning and I got 18 people with, dark sunglasses and cheap suits on at my door, like
because you
I don't
just
need all
built
that.
this ship, yeah. So you said Romulan, didn't you?
Yeah.
Why Romulan? What made
I figured
just because of the cloaking element?
I figured I had two basic choices. I had Klingon or Romulan, and I probably could guarantee myself a cloak. And I figured that Romulans would have probably a better living quarters in the. It would be less Spartan.
Oh my God, that is such a great reason. That is such a great reason, because when I thought about this, I thought originally on a similar vein to you that I wanted something with a cloak, because I wanted to be able to hide it. I wanted that exact for that, but I never thought about the fact that the Klingons probably sleep on brick mattresses, and they probably don't have the greatest of living conditions, because it's all about they're probably just hot bunk, don't they? Just go from one to the other, and it's all about duty. Not built very well, are they? But whereas Romulans, I can imagine them quite liking a feathery pillow. I think a Romulan would dig a nice downy quilt and a feathery pillow. I think they would dig that.
Yeah, there's definitely
exactly.
an age differential between this. Us three, you, me, Putzz, have gone for like hiding it, keeping it to ourselves, just doing short journeys. I'm glamping in the sky, whereas both Candy and Silvers are like, we're going out, we're blowing up things. Candy's making billions from his platinum mining in space, and Silvers is reporting back to NASA and Elon Musk. They're sharing the information. We're hiding it. We're like, there's nothing technological here. It's a sail.
Yeah. Well, I've said you've basically chosen a space kite. That's basically all you chose, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I have my first, journey would definitely be to maybe the rings of Saturn, or somewhere looking for, some sort of something that I can bring back that can fund the rest of all of my journeys, and then introduce, technology sporadically over time, and, help society that way, instead of just, here we go, here's everything all at once,
Yeah. No, I get that. I totally get that. And I mean, on a similar vein, I feel a bit gutted that I didn't think about it. And in hindsight, because the ship that I ended up choosing, and I'll give you my main reason for wanting to build it first, and that's that I want to sell it, because I feel like I'd be able to sell it, and then I would never have to work again. So that's my whole reason behind building it, because I think people would pay a pretty penny for an Enterprise D, because that's what I would want to build. I'd want to build a Galaxy-class Starship. For me, a Galaxy-class Starship, I know that might be the boring option. It might be the safe option.
Cliche.
It's very, very cliche. It's very, very cliche. But the couple of things that I really like about the Enterprise D, I love the fact that it separates. So if I do end up taking on a crew somewhere and I don't like them, I can just bin them and fly about in my warp nacelles without having to kill them. I can just leave them in the saucer section to float around. Because like I've said, I'm not the most sociable. I'm not the most sociable person. So I think it would be nice to not have to kill them and just send them somewhere else. I love the fact that,
Never would have guessed.
No, I know. not the most sociable person.
Day trip to Mars, people. You can go. You can go. You can go.
Yeah.
No, you stay. I need you. You can go. You go. I like you.
I mean, I suppose I could just leave them somewhere.
Last stop, Radiant 4.
Note to self, everyone: if Lube asks you to join his crew, just say no.
Just say no. No, it's probably safer.
Be behind somewhere.
Yeah, it's probably safer.
Unless he asks me, because he can't do anything without me.
No. You'd have to come. Yeah, you'd have to come. I'm sorry. You wouldn't have a choice. But I think I love the fact...
You need an engineer to fix it.
I would need an engineer to fix it. You are correct, because I wouldn't be fixing it. I'd be sat on the chair on the bridge, I'd be just sat tapping on my chair on all the magical buttons. I'd be doing all that. So, Galaxy class for me, I think, was a perfect blend between battle readiness, comfort, leisure, exploration. I think it ticked practically every box, because it was a powerhouse from a weaponry perspective, going back to what Candy was saying. It was a luxury ship, sort of what Putzz touched on a little bit. It had proper beds, it had decent quarters, it had holodecks, it had a bar. You need that. Do you know what I mean? And I would want Whoopi, I can't say it now. I would want Whoopi Goldberg as my bartender. I would want her to go and do that. I think that would be fantastic. I know I'm clutching here to say that that's what I'd actually want, but I just think it really epitomizes Star Trek super, super well. But I would also like something deep down in me really wants a scimitar. So the scimitar being the ship of Shinzon, who was Picard's clone in Nemesis. And I thought the scimitar, from a visual perspective, was one of the best looking ships in the whole of Star Trek. I thought it looked amazing. And yes, that had a killer weapon in it, the Thaleron radiation thing that it fired out. That was incredible. And I thought from a visually, I would love that. And that is one scary looking ship. But I think practically, what would I build and what would I want from it? I would want a Galaxy class ship, and I would go take it out and explore for a bit, and then I'd flog it, just so that I could get the money and never have to work again. Which is a really strange reason to build it. But I'm quite a money oriented dude as well. That could come back to my job. But but I think the Enterprise D would probably be mine. Has anybody got any more like ships that they think that they would really want in their fleet if they was going to have a couple of other ships if they'd finished doing their main one, but there's another ship that came a really close second? What other ships would you really want in your fleet?
I'd go for the D4 because it's red.
The D4?
A D4.
Oh,
a Ferengi D4.
Oh,
it's red.
Yeah, like the little, because like Quark has one, doesn't he? I mean, I don't know if it's actually called a Devore in the show. Obviously, we know that from STFC, but I'm not sure what class of ship that really is from the Ferengi stuff. But no, they are. All the Ferengi stuff, it's like a reddy, goldy, dark reddy type colour. They do look pretty. What about you, Candy? Was you going to say something?
I would actually be half tempted to have a ship like the ECS Horizon in my personal fleet, because you at some point you always got to move cargo from one planet to another, or you got to help a friend move. So you might as well have the ship to do it.
Yeah, it's fair. That thing's bloody long, isn't it? I mean, you see it in Enterprise, don't you? Because that's actually where Travis Mayweather was born, wasn't he? He was born on the Horizon, wasn't he?
Yep.
He was born on the Horizon. That's still where his parents lived and his siblings lived and stuff before he left to join, obviously, Archer's crew. So, I mean, they were quite a big part. They were just a bit trudgy, weren't they? They just sort of trudged along at a very slow speed.
Just space truckers.
Yeah, basically, yeah. They were just, and they'd still get in my way. They'd still block all the lanes, even if I was in space with all 3 dimensions. So, no, absolute madness. Or is there 4 dimensions in space?
There's 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
I just said that. Did you hear that? Did you hear that little anger in his voice? That little bit of irritance, that little bit of... he wanted to shout at me at that point, didn't he? I thought there was 4 dimensions in space. I thought up and down was a dimension.
That's vertical.
You ready? Oh, I thought he was going to bite. I thought he was going to chomp down. I am joking, by the way, everybody. I'm not actually that stupid.
You got a funny way of showing it.
Any more honourable mentions, Putzz? Anything else that you want to add in terms of ships that you would love to build, based on design, based on functionality? Anything else that you want to add to the conversation?
I just love the way it looks, the way it flies, the way it moves, and that is a jelly. The spot jelly, that is just a sweet ride.
It really is. I mean, and that was the only one, really. Can anybody think of another ship that actually had a moving part to it while it was going? Because obviously the jellyfish had the bits at the back, didn't they, that sort of span and intertwined and looked really good. I can't think of another ship that had moving parts to it, really. Obviously, Voyager had its nacelles that moved, but that was just like a one-off thing as it went to warp. But I can't think of anything else that moved like that. It was a very unique
Enterprise.
What, sorry?
The nacelles that spin.
Oh, basically,
yeah, TOS Enterprise.
Yeah, they look like props, don't they?
I mean,
it's got propellers.
I mean, you could also kind of go as far as like the Prometheus and Voyager with the tri-separation of the holes in the cells from the body, but not so much as like a rotational movement, like a complex movement.
It's more similar to the saucer separation.
Yeah, probably.
Like
Yeah, probably. But no, I thought the jelly, I totally agree. Really, really awesome looking ship. And we'll probably do a conversation on like the best designs of ships, because these are ships that we want. But I think designs of ships and stuff, I think that'd be a really good thing to talk about. So no, nice. Has anybody got any more? Silvers, anything else that you want to add to this section before we move on?
Nope, my ship can do everything.
Yeah, well, as you would expect. As you would, as you would expect. Okay, we're going to move on to one of our favourite sections. I'm looking forward to this one. We are going to be talking. Let's do freedom and reason. Yes, freedom and reason is here. And I'm looking forward to this one. We're going back to vocabulary. We're not going to be talking about the U that the Americans have stolen from half of the words that involve, which we talked about in one of the previous episodes. We're going to be talking today about slang. And I'm looking forward to this. So the format of this is going to be, I've asked the panel to come up with slang words that if you're a Brit, a Yank might not get. If you're a Yank, a Brit might not understand the meaning of it. It might have a different meaning, but it might not be used in the similar sort of context as to how we would do. So let me show you the format. So I'm going to pick one. If I said to you, Silvers, that's the dog's bollocks, what would you say?
It's something that was made up.
Okay, Candy, what do you think?
Think that you're maybe like talking out of your butt.
The dog's bollocks. Minnie, tell him what the dog's bollocks is. Okay.
It's so good. It's the dog's danglies.
So
There you go.
So the dog's bollocks basically means that was the best. That was awesome. And I picked that one because I knew you would never have got it. So if you say something, oh my God, that show I watched last night was the dog's bollocks, you're saying that it's absolutely brilliant. Say that's amazing. The meal I had last night, that Chinese was the dog's bollocks, or even just shortened to the dogs. Everybody would know what the dogs meant. So that's the format of the segment, because there's going to be so many things that you think, well, bollocks, do you know what bollocks are?
No.
No.
Yeah, maybe we should have clarified that first, shouldn't we?
Well, no. Because, well, a bollock. Oh, come on, Putzz. You're going to know what bollocks are. You are absolutely going to know what bollocks are.
See, I knew that. I thought it was like one was good and then one was bad. So if dog's bollocks is good, then and bollocks then is bad for some reason.
Minnie, this is fantastic that they don't know what bollocks are. Candy, any idea?
I know.
I mean, like bollocks, like always, like that was it's more like a slang, like borderline, like more of a derogatory term to describe displeasure with something or disgust or disdain.
That sounds like you've Googled it and you're reading it.
No.
Did anybody else not think that was like a Gemini or a ChatGPT response to what are bollocks?
No, actually.
No, it's called having a decent vocabulary. Look it up, you knew.
Oh.
Andy's shooting shots tonight.
Very nice. Very nice. No, I mean, bollocks are actually testicles. That's what a bollock means. Grim as it sounds. So the dog's bollocks actually meaning the best is a very strange terminology, but I just knew that you would never have even heard that phrase either. So that's how I want the segment to go.
Great first choice.
Great first choice, I know. But I knew that all the Brits who listen will go, oh my God, that was a strange one to open with. And the Yanks will be like, well, I have no idea what you're on about. Now that you know the whole terminology of the meaning of the words, I think it's quite amusing. Okay, so that's my first one. Silvers, blow me away. Tell me a word and let me see if I know what it is. Because I think before we start, Silvers, we had this conversation before. We think that me and Minnie, as Brits, are going to get a lot more than what you're going to get of ours, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
As I might have said before on a previous podcast, the Brits care more about American culture than Americans care about British culture. I feel like that's generally true.
I think cares a very strong word.
Yeah, cares a little bit subjective.
I'm going to say that it's not that Brits care more, it's that Americans push onto the rest of the world more.
I think we're exposed to America a lot more than what the
Exactly.
States are exposed to us. I think that's a really good way of putting it, Putzz. I think that's a really good way of putting it. I mean, like, you think 80% of all the English movies that are are made in Hollywood, aren't they? I'm saying 80%. That's probably nowhere near right. But the big movies that are watched worldwide are made in the US. So from a context perspective,
Like Harry Potter or the Bond movies.
Minnie, you're not helping.
You mean
Great example.
or Trainspotting?
But you know what I mean. All the
Lock,
Marvel
Stock, Two
films.
Smoky Barrels.
We could keep going forever at this, couldn't we? You know what I'm trying to say. Culturally, we are exposed to US stuff a lot more than what the Brits are. But go on, Silvers, give us one. Give us a bit of slang, and let's see if you can catch us out. Because we're going to catch you out a lot, but I don't think you're going to catch us out a lot.
Do you know what a rule of thumb is?
A rule of thumb. I know. Minnie, you go first. Because I think I even know the origin to this. But go on.
Rule of thumb is something which is known, isn't it? So, I mean, I don't know about the origin, but I know that the thumb is an inch. So, is it something to do with measurements, maybe in the American mind?
I think that the rule of thumb to us as a phrase means that the way to do it is X, Y, Z. We would displace that with the rule of thumb is that you do X, Y, and Z. And I think the terminology comes from people measuring using the thumb. I think it's a measurement thing.
It's not necessarily a measurement thing. It's just a standard. So you might say, oh, if something is usually this value, then you might say, oh, it's just a rule of thumb that this value is this. It's just a standard that's an approximation close enough, essentially.
Yeah. But I do think it's, well, I thought it was something to do with measurement, so I've got that one wrong already. That was a bad start. Okay. Go on, Silvers, give us another one, because I know you'll have a few on your list.
Some of my alliance mates will love that I brought this one up, but drinking the Kool-Aid.
Idiot.
Yeah, I'd say
means
that
you're
was
an idiot. It's from the cult, isn't it? Where they drank the Kool-Aid and all died. It's like you are drinking the Kool-Aid. You are absolutely being brainwashed.
brainwashed.
Idiot,
Come on,
not so much.
Give me a ting.
Brainwashed, yes.
Yes.
There you go, Minnie. I wasn't going to say that. I thought it was an insult. I thought it was just somebody insulting somebody. You need to go drink the Kool-Aid. Oh, God.
No, you would say that someone is drinking the Kool-Aid if they're saying something and it just doesn't really make sense from a logical point of view.
It's like saying STFC's got no bugs in it whatsoever, and it's like, you've been drinking the Kool-Aid. What is wrong with you?
With that context, that makes perfect sense. What is what is Kool-Aid? I was thinking it was like Gatorade, because I know that's a drink over there.
Kool-Aid is a
it's essentially a powder that you can put into water. It's very similar to Gatorade.
Right. But Gatorade's like pre-mixed, isn't it?
Yeah. And a lot of Kool-Aid you just mix on your own.
Oh, right.
It's just another brand name.
Right. Okay. Got you. Okay. I like that one. Minnie, throw one at the Yanks.
Codswallop.
No idea.
Anybody want to go at that?
Oh. No idea.
Come on. Have a go.
Or didn't you actually mention this briefly, like I think it was the last time we talked to Codwallop was like something that was like it's kind of like gritty, like doesn't exactly taste great in your mouth, or something that you're eating and doesn't taste fantastic, and you're trying to figure out what it is.
That was a conversation Candy had with Lube, not me. I was not involved in that conversation at all.
You was. No. You was involved. It was because that was when we was talking about claggy.
Oh, claggy. That was the word I was thinking.
Yes,
that was what I was confusing.
Codswallop, probably the best way that I would describe this, Minnie, correct me if you would do it any better, bullshit.
Yeah.
Utter codswallop. That's how it will be used in terminology. Utter codswallop. Not one.
Right. Do you know what a bull is, and do you know what shit is? I just want to clarify.
Yes, you know what that is.
Just checking. I'm just checking. We didn't start out very well.
So that's where I would hear you use like bollocks or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not the
Interestingly
dogs
enough,
though.
one of the ones I was going to bring up was hogswallop.
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 It's a southern term in the.
It is very southern.
Yeah. It was actually used in the movie "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Sounds religious.
No, it's funny.
It's actually the journey of Ulysses, told in the Depression era South. But hogswallop means. What do you think it means?
Hogswallop. See, I think because it had wallop in it, Minnie, I would lean so much towards codswallop. Hogswallop. Does it mean hitting something? Because I've heard that wallop can mean to hit something. We use that sometimes. Is it anything to do with hitting something?
No, it doesn't have anything to do with hitting.
No, I'm out.
Is it hogswallop? Is it? That's totally made up. That's like that. You're just making stuff up. A polite way of saying bullshit, I guess. Is it the same as codswallop?
It is. You are correct. It is exactly the same.
That's cheating to get that right. Minnie, you can have a charm. You can have a charm, but oh my God, why didn't I think of that? That's madness. So basically it's the same thing, but
we're not all that.
We've probably changed that. It was probably always hogswallop, and we've changed it to cods because we do a lot more fishing here on our island. So we thought we'd put a fish in there and call it codswallop. Oh dear. Right, okay, another one. I'll go. What if I said you were pick one. Cream crackered.
You're just like stupid drunk.
Silvers?
That's a good guess because there's like 20 different ways to say that you're drunk in Britain.
You can actually use
any word works.
Any word works with drunk. You could say I'm absolutely Ford Coopered. Do you know what I mean? It just works. I know that because that's just come up on an advert on my PC. You could use any word for it. I'm flagged. I'm absolutely Jeff Bezos. Do you know what I mean? Anything could mean drunk here. Anything could mean drunk here. But yeah, go on. Cheesed off. It's nothing to do with being drunk. Sorry, not cheesed off. Cream crackered.
Cream crackered.
Is it being really, really tired?
It is really, really tired. 1 point to the Yanks. I think that's 2-1 in the favour of the Brits so far in the battle of the slang. So you're gonna have to up your game. But yeah, no, absolutely spot on. Putzz. Anything you got?
All right. Am I up? I'm sorry. My wife was like, "I told you." And I think I didn't even hear you. In honor of my wife, I'm gonna go with a phrase. If the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. If the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, what does that mean?
Why not? Does it mean just have a go? Why not? Why not do that?
Close.
The good Lord's
Is it
willing.
like it's guaranteed to happen?
Kind of opposite.
Okay.
Like taking a risk.
So like not a cat in hell's chance, basically. You ain't got a cat in hell's chance unless the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. The creek's always going to rise.
Never in a month of Sundays.
Not exactly never in a month of Sundays, but here's what it is. It's more of like all of these things have to line up, right? I got to be lucky, and this has to happen, and this has to happen, and this has to happen in order for it to be successful. That's what it means.
Okay. So something with a slim chance of happening, but it's okay. No.
Slim to none.
Slim to none. That's probably another one. Okay, no, I quite like that. I haven't got many phrases. I do quite like that though. I'll never remember it, but I've got that one. Minnie, what you got?
Bee's knees.
Really cool.
Yeah, really cool. Or something you're keen on.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's
Yeah, I'll give them that straight away. Yeah.
Very similar to the dog's bollocks. That the bee's knees. If someone's the bee's knees, it could also be the dog's bollocks. Okay, cool. Let's see if I can throw them away. What about Wazak?
God bless you. Good Gesundheit. What did you just say?
Wazak.
No idea.
I give you a clue. I might call somebody a Wazak. Silvers would probably
You
call
probably
me
have
one.
in a stream.
Silvers would probably call me one.
An idiot or
like a weirdo. Like a weirdo.
Come on, Ken, that's a bit deeper, weirdo. But yeah, it basically means an idiot. Yeah, it basically means an idiot. Yeah, it basically means an idiot. Go on. I'll do a couple of other quick ones at you. What about minted? If I said
brand new?
oh no. If I said let's use somebody already mentioned. Elon Musk is absolutely minted.
Oh, rich.
Yeah, absolutely rich. Absolutely minted. Cheesed off. I had that written on my list yesterday. Go on.
Yeah.
Mad.
Angry. Yeah.
Yeah, annoyed or displeased or something like that. Yeah, bob on. What about chuffed?
That's good. I know that one. Happy.
What about chuff?
Well, then I don't know.
We won't go there. After Mini laughing tells you that we shouldn't go there.
No, we shouldn't go there.
What if I said bog standard? If I said my weekend was bog standard.
Yeah,
Lazy?
nothing special, nothing to write home about.
What did you say, Silvers?
Lazy.
Putzz?
I was going to say normal.
Yeah, bog standard basically means just completely ordinary. Completely ordinary, nothing spectacular at all. Here we go. What about waffle?
Different from the food?
Definitely different.
Definitely different from the food. And I'm not on about blue, and I'm not on about blue waffle.
God.
To be in
Jesus
between two different choices. To waffle between two different choices.
Being indecisive.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Putzz?
Is this one of the Cockney rhyming ones, like waffle, awful? So it's like this something's just bad.
This isn't Cockney rhyming slang, no.
Lube waffles on a lot during these streams.
Oh, ranting? Like just rambling on?
Yeah, rambling on.
Rambling.
Exactly that. Just chatting about absolutely nothing. Just basically saying words for the absolute sake of it, basically, yeah. What about if I said yonks?
You gonna let us go through some, or are you just gonna go through your whole list?
But I think go on then. You go on. You go. I love my list. Go on. You go.
Do you know what a rain check is?
Yeah, I think
Like if I said
rain checks
like if I had to. Yeah, go ahead.
So we rain checked the pod last week. Postpone.
Oh, fantastic use.
Postpone.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. What about passing the buck?
The book as in $1 or the book as in a written book?
Something else.
The book stops here. Passing the book.
Blaming
Come
somebody
on,
else.
you know this.
Blaming
You
somebody
do
else.
it to Silvers all the time. Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
No? What? Passing the book?
Passing the book here would mean like passing the blame on to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Essentially dropping a
somebody else in it.
responsibility or blame
Yeah.
onto someone else.
Okay, go on.
What about play it by ear?
Winging it by the seam of your pants.
No, actually.
Playing it by ear is when are we doing the next pod? We'll wait to hear from Lube, so we'll just play it by ear.
Yes.
Whenever,
As in-
yeah,
What I feel like
Whenever.
everything
Whenever-
here has been
whenever,
used to
whenever.
insult me. I think everything here has been used to insult me.
No, not everything. Not the dog's bollocks. Certainly not.
Bollocks.
Playing it by ears means that the outcome isn't known yet. You need more information you're waiting for information to come in to be able to make a determination on something.
Okay. I think I get that. Candy, what you got?
how about going Dutch?
Smoking a lot of weed?
Nope.
Halving the bill.
Pretty. It's
Sorry,
more. It's more.
Halving the jet.
It's more or less kind of like that. Like whatever. Like if there's something that needs to be paid for, it's all being divvied up equally.
What's it? Say that phrase again. I've never heard that.
Going Dutch.
Have you
So
heard
say for
that, Minnie?
example.
Yeah.
So for like example, you like say you're going on a date with the missus,
Yeah.
and she's kind of being honored that night, and you're like, all right, wait, let's go Dutch tonight. Like you pay for your part, I pay for my part. Like everyone has their own responsibility.
Oh my
You're sleeping on the sofa.
Yeah, you're sleeping on the sofa. Yeah.
Uh,
Don't even bother coming home. I'm going home in a taxi. Yeah, basically.
Go get stuck in the mud.
Brilliant. That sounds like an insult. Fantastic.
Similar topic is what Candy said. What about on the house?
Free.
Yeah, you've probably heard that in plenty of American movies.
Well, on the house, actually, more comes from here because house used to be the public house. That's where the phrase comes from. Obviously, the pub emanated from here. So yeah, on the house means on the public house. It's actually a pub. It's a pub phrase, and nobody does a pub like us, do they, Minnie?
Nobody.
Very good, there. Putzz, what you got?
Well, I was thinking that, like, okay, in the United States, we have a lot of slang words that are very temporal. Like they only last just a while, right? Like, you may have heard of rad or gnarly or awesome or fat. And now we have words like sus and, gleek and a bunch of, that mean crazy things. But then, like, I didn't know if, like, Brits also had, like, slang that, was once in fashion and, is only in fashion for a couple of years or,
We do.
that's what really...
Cowabunga.
Yeah, cowabunga. That's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, isn't it? We do. Though,
Hell,
we do.
so was half of what Putzz just said.
And I do find, Putzz, that a lot of these words are other words for good. They very rarely have many that mean negative. They're normally based on the positive, aren't they? So here we would have peng. You heard that one, Minnie?
No, that one's new to me.
PENG, Papa Echo November Golf. Peng was one here to say that something was really good. I think I have seen fat before, but it was spelled PH, Putzz.
Yes, PHAT.
Yeah.
And it's actually an acronym. Stands for pretty, hot, and tempting.
Ooh.
Oh, I never knew that. How interesting. But yeah, no, we have some very strange stuff here as well, Minnie. I mean, it's not as prevalent in the north as it is in the south, but the word in it, that's very British, isn't it? I bet you would never hit it. So we have a lot of people. We don't air it up here, do we? Really, if I'm being honest. But if you go down to London or any other major city, really, younger people tend to end every sentence with "in it." So stupid as it sounds, they would say, "Welcome to episode 12 of Brits and Yanks Talk Trek, in it. I'm your host, Lube, in it." It means nothing. It follows nothing in terms of the sentence. It doesn't work from a vocabulary perspective. It just doesn't work. But they add it at the end of the sentence. It is the most stupid thing.
It's almost like they're on a walkie-talkie. Like instead of like over, it's like in it.
Over. Yeah, absolutely. Unless they say, "No, there's a well there and I fell in it. I mean, that's pretty much the only way that they could actually make it fit into a sentence. But no, honestly, it's just absolute utter garbage. But no, we do have some sort of temporary slangisms that bleed into, and a lot of the time it's the younger generation. The older generation don't tend to use it. Like it's teenagers,
What's a
school
chav?
kids. A chav?
Yes,
You
for the
don't-
Americans. What's a chav?
I know of like a Chad, but not necessarily like a Chav, like CHAV or
Yeah.
CHAD.
Yeah,
CHAV.
CHAV.
Yeah.
That actually doesn't. I may be too old for that.
Silvers, any idea what a chav is?
Not a clue.
Have you ever watched Little Britain?
Never heard of it.
Oh, that's a shame. You'll never be able to now either. They've took it off everything because it was so harshly racist. So, go on, Minnie. What the hell's a chav?
A chav, it's also an acronym, and it means council housed and violent. And it's a police term, which was put towards young miscreants of a certain age. But basically, it's brought into popular culture by chavs that don't know what it means, going, like they're all chaffy, like, "Yay, chav, how are you, you chav?"
Yeah.
Like, it's cool.
Basically, younger delinquents, if I'm honest. I'm not
an idiot.
associating people that are in council houses are all delinquents. That's not the truth at all. But
No.
not in the slightest. But basically, there's like some violent people tend to be from less fortunate backgrounds generally, and they're generally violent and they cause trouble, stand on street corners drinking, blah 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 blah. Generally the younger generations, as it were. But yeah, that's generally what we would call a chav. I always associate chavs with Burberry. They all used to wear Burberry hats, didn't they? whether it was real from Turkey or stolen, I've no idea. Do you know what I mean? But they always did seem to have some. Go on then, Silvers. Any more?
What about cold feet?
You say you're going to get cold feet if you're going to pull out of something. So you was going to buy a house, you decide not to. The expression would be, "I got cold feet."
Very good.
You happy with that? Was that a good? Was that a good explanation?
That was a good explanation.
Yeah, I liked it.
What about spilling the beans?
Spilling the beans. If so, spilling the bean. Go on, Minnie. You can do that one.
If you had a secret and you couldn't keep it in, and you told everyone around you, you'd be spilling the beans. Is my interpretation of that.
That's how I would do it as well.
Yep.
Any more? I think we're nailing the American ones. I think I just need to sit and wax this button over and over again.
What about riding shotgun?
Hello?
That's a George Ezra song.
Shotgun!
I've been riding shotgun underneath the heart. Great
Passenger
song.
seat, you shout shotgun. I'm in the passenger seat.
Sit in the front of the car.
Which is really annoying if they're the driver.
I guess to expand on that one, then riding bitch.
Oh. No, I don't know that one.
That's got to be going in the back.
That's not me.
That's got to be going in the back. Phrasing.
But we're in the back.
The trunk?
Nope.
I said that because did you wear that many? I did really well there. We don't call a boot. We don't call it a trunk. What?
Boot.
Oh, no, I was going to say, what do we call the hood of a car?
The bonnet.
We do call it. Oh, you don't get to do that. You're a car dude. You don't get to do that. I forgot what yours was now.
Riding bitch.
Yeah, I have absolutely no clue.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no clue.
That's when you're stuck sitting in the middle seat in the back seat, the smallest seat in the car.
Oh, see, I like that. I'm going to use that, Minnie.
Yeah.
I'm going to use
So
that.
you're going Dutch and you're riding bitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
You is going to be single, aren't you?
Absolutely. That is the dog's bollocks. I'm telling you now. That is the dog's bollocks.
Okay, Lube.
Go
Are
on.
you ready?
Yes.
Bless your heart.
Ugh.
Bless your heart.
Bless your...
That's
Yep.
a cut. That's a cut.
I would say, well, we would say like, oh, bless, when something's cute, or if somebody does something nice, we'd say, oh, bless. Does it mean that?
No.
You might. I'd be like, oh, bless your little cotton socks. Aren't you special?
Yeah.
Oh, bless your heart.
Go on, Putzz. This sounds like it's got a sinister meaning.
It does. This is a way for a genteel, proper Southerner to rip you a new one, or rip whoever they're talking to a new one, right? Like,
Oh my God.
for example, like, oh, did you hear about Jimmy? He did so and so, and somebody said, oh, bless his heart, bless your heart. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody's standing in line and they're getting ready to pay, and the cashier messes up or whatever, they can look at it and go, oh, bless your heart, darling, bless your heart, which basically means
it's a very Southern insult.
Yes.
See, even the way you said it didn't sound like an insult.
Oh, but if you hear it, you know it's an insult.
That's what it's meant to be. It's like anyone who's none the wiser wouldn't take it any other way.
Yeah, see, I'd think you were being really nice.
Yeah, no.
But we have it with bless your cotton socks. It's like, oh my God, like
bless your little cotton socks. Yeah,
bless your little cotton socks. You're so special.
Like, you poor little idiot.
Yeah. See, that I would totally get. You little wazzock. Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
I'm glad you told us that before we went to Nashville in 2025.
I know, yeah, and everybody's just sat slagging us off. I'm going, he's so nice.
Hey,
you know.
Lou,
He's so
bless
nice.
your heart.
I know, he's
like,
so
thanks,
nice.
mate.
He's been lovely to us, and they come spot later and then ends up just sort of like punching us square in the throat. Oh, brilliant. I thought he liked me. He just kept blessing me. But, right, anybody got any more? Any more?
What about, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
We'll think about it later.
Yeah, or we'll make a decision on it later.
Yeah. Right, I think this podcast has been going on for yonks now. Yonks. I've put that into too good a context. You've got to know what that means.
Too long.
Yeah.
Long enough.
A long period of time. Yeah, a long period of time. Final one, somewhere that I could expect nobody on this panel to have ever been, is at Her Majesty's pleasure. Or now at His Majesty's pleasure. What do you think that means?
Whatever he wants.
To serve. This is like if you are doing something, at Her Majesty's pleasure, then you are doing it in the service of the government or the monarchy.
Minnie, have you ever spent any time at Her Majesty's pleasure?
Close. No, I have never spent any time at Her Majesty's pleasure.
No, me neither.
It means being locked up.
Going to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That, yeah. His Majesty's / Her Majesty's pleasure means that you are being looked after by the Crown in jail.
Yeah, we have set up the river, going to the Hooskow.
See,
Big house.
I never fully understood, because you have a different thing between a jail and a prison, don't you? We don't really.
Yes.
We don't really have that. You have like county jails. I mean, that could be a whole nother topic, but it means totally different things, doesn't it? Jail and prison.
Yeah, jail and prison are two different things.
I think that is a good topic.
Yeah, because it's totally different. Yeah. Totally different. If I said to you, "Is on remand," would you know what that meant?
It's being detained.
Sort of, but no. If you'd have known what it was, if you knew what it meant. Okay, but no, I think that gives us another topic for another pod. So I like that. Honestly, I thought that was fantastic. There's so many things there, and it just shows the difference between the way that we talk, the way you talk. Bear in mind, we actually speak the same language. Yes, we spell things slightly differently, but ultimately, it's very rare that we don't know what each other is saying. But when you start throwing slang in there, it could just mean two totally different things. Like Putzz blessing me, I never realised that he actually wanted to stab me in the eye. Do you know what I mean? It's just absolute madness. And Candy wants to go serve at Her Majesty's pleasure, which means he'd have to go and rob something to do it. But really, what he wanted to do was serve the country. So no, there are loads of different things. So moving on, we're going to move on to our STFC topic. And this is going to be a relatively quick one, nice, easy one. We're going to talk about our favourite officer groups. So when I say officer groups, it's when you look at the officers and it's officers that synergize with each other. So what is your group that you think is the most complete group, or what is your favourite group? And I also want to add in terms of a bit of a teaching moment, sourcing for them if we can. So, and remember that if you want to know how to source any officer, Silvers, tell them how to do that.
I've got a spreadsheet for that.
So on our Discord, which the link to that is in the episode description down below, you can get our Discord, you can go to the Silvers' Sheets channel, and then you will be able to find the officer sourcing spreadsheet, which will tell you how to, if at all, to be able to source every single officer. So don't think you have to sit and remember everything, but by all means, sit and listen to this segment 10 times if it will absolutely help you. So we will be very courteous, and we will start with our guest this evening. We will start with you, Putzz. Tell us about your favourite officer group, why you like them, and let's talk about sourcing for them.
So I'm going to probably take the easy way out, and I'm going to say the Voyager group. They were, when they came out, every single one of them was, man, they were great. Some of them were like all-time great. Some of them are still, you got to run them every day on just about everything. A few have lost their luster a little bit, but just overall, the Voyager group, hands down, 100% the best group.
Who do you think's lost it a little bit, just out of curiosity? Because I can't think of many from Voyager that are not 100% relevant still.
Tuvok's lost his luster a little.
Okay, yeah, I would agree. Tell us what Tuvok does again, just to remind us why we don't think that's super important.
Tuvok's below deck ability is to make Voyager's cargo hold really, really large. And if you're into the X-Borg favors and now the Mirror Universe chest, you can pretty much sunset the Voyager loop so that then he becomes kind of non-existent.
Okay.
And really, the only thing that he's useful for now is if you're still doing formation armadas, especially the uncommons, putting him on the bridge, his officer ability is to get more loot.
Yeah.
And some people, like if all of our whales that are listening, they're like, I don't need any more, I'm good. So for them, he's done.
And I'm not a whale, and I don't need any more either, because it only works on standard artifact tokens. It doesn't even work on the rares or anything like that, does it? It only affects the standards, if I remember.
Correct.
Yeah, so no, I totally agree. And as an officer set, if we just quickly say who they are, we've got B'Elanna Torres, Harry, Tuvok, Neelix, Tom Paris, the Doctor, Chakotay, Janeway, and 7 of 9. Every single one of them officers, I probably use, barring Tuvok, most days. There isn't many days in game when I actually get to play that I don't use all of that set. Obviously, the 3 below deck officers, they were revolutionary where the Putzz. Do you know what I mean? The 3 below deck officers, the Neelix, the B'Elanna Torres, and the Kim, the ability to proc a state against hostiles from below deck. It's amazing, isn't it?
It was my very first rare officer that during a event store, I spent 100% of my loot on that officer.
BLT.
Like I got BLT to tier 5. I got Paris to tier 4. I got Neelix to tier 3, all from the event store.
So good.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Neelix wasn't in the original event store.
All right.
Because he was
Harry.
in the...
Yeah, Harry.
Harry.
He was released in the last arc.
You're right, Harry. Sorry, I keep getting them mixed up because, they should be...
Sorry, I have to give him a chime when he corrects something. He likes his chime now.
Absolutely.
But no, from a sourcing perspective, I mean, I said month 1 when B'Elanna was launched. B'Elanna was launched month 1 of Voyager. Nope, Silvers didn't correct me, so I'm definitely right. I said that I was going to be spending, even that month, regardless what came out, I was spending 100% of any of event store loot on B'Elanna, and I did that, and I stuck to that. And same as you, I maxed her out in that next event store. I've just in the last week maxed Harry Kim, and I maxed Neelix probably 2 months ago. When did Voyager come out? Can anybody remember? How long has it taken me to actually max out the
May
3?
of 23.
May of 23, so it took, about 15, 16 months. And sourcing for these started off slow, didn't it? But it did get progressively quicker. But just tell us, Putzz, again, how do you source these officers now?
Oh, man. I don't even remember. I end up clicking a whole bunch, and I don't remember where they come from. I'm gonna have to go with Silvis. Help me, Silvis. Help me.
The Xborg chests have some, I believe.
Correct.
There might be some in Mirror Universe. I don't think so. I think that's all NX01 now. And the Rare Formation Armadas, the turn-in.
Yeah, so Rare Formation
for the Voyager
Armadas,
officers.
which pay out the complex nanotechs, but you can, I mean, I've sunsetted that loop as well, because I, again, go back to Xborg, where the bundle is that pays out the officers. You can use the artifacts bundle within Xborg to get nanotechs to be able to pull this chest. So, again, it's free sourcing of this, and that complex nanotech has the Doctor, B'Elanna, Janeway, Paris, Kim, Chakotay, Tuvok, the Doctor in there. So pretty much everybody barring Neelix and 7 of 9. They're the only 2 officers that aren't sourced within that chest. So yeah, no, really good. I think we talked quite long on that set because I totally agreed with your Putzz. I don't think there's many better sets in the game. So let's wait and see what the rest of the panel have got. Let's move to you, Minnie. Talk to us about an officer set that you really like or that are either your favourite.
Okay, I'm going to go with the lower deck set. Because as a smaller player coming up, and this is pre-Voyager, so this is before BLT, this is where I'm thinking from, they were my first below-deck officers that actually made a difference in my gameplay. So they were really important for me. And as you know, we talked about it just a couple of weeks ago with the transporter patterns. There's a couple of them there that you can really work on. So for me, I think, do we all get Badgie for free? I seem to feel like everyone has Badgie.
Yeah,
but the rest comes through the Cerritos loop.
There's a bundle for signing up for Scopely ID, and that includes Badgie and a few other things.
Right.
God, yeah.
Okay.
But I think, I mean, the below deckers, I have to agree with you that they are a great set. They were the start of having below deck abilities. I mean, Minnie, can you even remember a time when below deck abilities didn't exist?
No.
So obviously,
I got Badgie on day 1.
So for like a good couple of years in the game. I mean, Silvers, can you remember when Lower Decks 1 started? It was a long time ago now, wasn't it? It must have been 22, maybe.
Yeah, like
22, maybe late 21.
Sometime in 22, I think.
Yeah, so if it were, let's say it was the beginning of 22, we're talking 2.5 years. So for the first 2.5 years of the game, we didn't have below deck abilities. All your below deck was for stats and building up the stats on your ship. That was the only reason for it. When they introduced the ability to add below deck abilities, they were very, very cautious on the abilities. I mean, yes, Tendi, Mariner, they do add benefit below deck in terms of the original set, but since then they've released the shackles a bit on the abilities to make them a lot more potent than what they are, because some of the newer things that have been added to the game totally obliterate the original lower deckers. But I think we've got to pay a huge homage to what those officer introductions into the game actually did to add that extra variety to crewing and to make things easier
also,
and everything. Massive.
With them coming out with the Cerritos loop, you get them in the 30s. Whereas what you were talking about moments ago with the Xborg store, I mean, that starts at 38, and you're not spending your hard-earned free boost tokens.
Yeah.
On anything other than research at that point.
So true. And the rare formation armadas, if I remember rightly, Silvers, you don't start getting directives from those until you fought in your 40s. I could be wrong about that.
Ops 30.
Ops 30.
They come in your 7 chest.
Oh, do they start at 30?
100 a week.
Okay, so you can.
It's 36 to do the mission to get there.
Right, okay, doc. So you do start getting a slow drip, but the complex nanotech drip is very slow, very, very slow. But I would totally agree with you, Minnie. So no, nice. What about you, Silvers? Talk to us about an officer set, something that you find really important.
So I'll give my probably overall best, and then I do have a honorable mention for the end. But I'm going to say the Unimatrix 12, which is the Borg officers. I just feel that this is an officer group that is complete in nearly every way. There are hostile armadas, Hugh and 5 of 11, mitigation, critical chance, loot bonuses out of those 2 officers. There are Armada officers like 6 of 11.
Yeah.
There are PvP officers
yeah.
like Dezak Gosa and
The
the
Queen.
Borg Queen. There
Mm.
are mining officers, 3, 4, and 11 of 11 for gas, ore, and crystal mining. So it's a very complete officer group. There's a lot more than what I've mentioned that are some of which are not as useful in today's game.
Not
but
now,
it's
no.
a very complete officer set
But there
that continues to be added to.
Upon launch as well, there has never been a Borg officer, and I'm going to exclude probably Gosa. He's probably the only one that probably doesn't fit this narrative. But separate from, aside from Gosa, every other Borg officer has had a very, very poignant use case in the game, even down to 8 and 9 for crit reductions and things like that, and even Borg probe fighting. 7 was huge, wasn't he, on the original Vidar? Do you know what I mean? 7 was so important on the original Vidar for you to be able to go out and grind your probes. Galinar,
I still see a lot of people that use 7 for just increasing health stats. Which isn't great, but he's used.
But it's something, isn't it? It's when I've got a spare slot, what do I need? I've got no more abilities that I need to put on. I'll throw some to make extra health on. It adds something to it. Galinar for the loot boost for when the Mantis and Borg probes and things like that. It was massive. And as an officer set as well, it was the second ever group to be added that basically had like a mammoth stat multiplier on them. Like every other officer up to that point, barring one other officer set, which was the augments, didn't have the level of stats as to what they are. I mean, just to give you a comparison, my 5 of 11 is currently 937,000. Another maxed epic officer that I've got on a ship, like Kang, which is a day 1 officer, also maxed level 30, is only 601,000. So it's like a 50% increase in terms of stat points, obviously, to get to those officers at the same level. So they give a huge boost. So for any officers using stats to be able to trigger, such as Tom Paris, I'm trying to think of more current ones that people will be using. Do you know what I mean? They're fantastic for stats as well. And like you say, a very, very complete officer set. Very, very complete officer set. I totally agree. Candy, what about you?
Go with one of the more recently introduced ones, the Enterprise E crew from the movies. It's like it's between all the what's that?
On point.
Yeah. It's a very on point crew, and being able to further expand isolytic damage capabilities. It essentially becomes one of your more current grinding crews that has a lot of versatilities to use it. It's not a one trick crew.
Really not.
With the exception of maybe a little bit of PvP, but
no, you're right. But I mean, of the 4 Enterprise officers that came out, obviously we had Picard, we had Riker as epics, and we had Data and Troy as rares. There isn't one of those officers that I don't use very, very regularly. And again, there isn't many sets where you can say that you use comfortably all the officers from it on a regular basis. And it also provides for me, and I've said this before, I think it was on stream, that the default crew for anybody going out and trying a new hostile, the starting point of a crew, if you've got them, should be Enterprise Picard, Enterprise E-Data, and 5. That should be your default crew. Unless you've got like additional loot officer, like for example with the NX-01, you might decide that you want to use Archer for loot instead. But your default loot crew for every loop in the game should be, can I kill it with E-Picard, E-Data, and then 5 of 11? Because the whole point of going out and grinding is going to be to get loot. Can I grind, do what I need to do with that crew? So the fact that that officer set has provided us with the A1 meta, in my opinion, the meta starting point, is huge, isn't it? But the other officers, Riker for speed, Deanna for actually providing a better bonus than her epic equivalent, which is Odo, at a relevant level. It's huge, isn't it? It's a really, really good officer set.
It is, yes.
Anybody got anything else that they want to add on those before I throw mine in? Did you say you had an honourable mention, Silver? So I'll let you do that after I've done mine, just in case I steal it. So mine are going to be taking a different slew, and I'm going to go for... sorry, Minnie. I'm going to go for the mirror officers, and more specifically, and I'm choosing them for a reason. PvP died about 18 months to 2 years ago. PvP died with the introduction of Carol Freeman. Carol Freeman made 10 PvP
That was more
from...
recent than that.
It was only about 18 months ago. It must have been about 18 months.
No. It was October of 2022 when we got the Interceptor strike team. Or no, it was August for the first strike team. And that was when PvP died first.
It did. Okay. Let's take it back. PvP started to die with the strike teams. Strike team versus strike team. There was still some element of something might not happen. Generally, it didn't. But the total death with Carol Freeman killed PvP. What the mirror officers have done is they've brought back to life the ability for PvP battles to go for more than one round again, which may sound really trivial, but when every battle ended in one round, depending on who clicked the attack button last and whether you actually got a proc to be able to activate Carol Freeman, that was basically the only part of luck that fell with it. The mirror officers have finally produced a little bit more RNG back into the game, and they've added that third officer slot that you can use, because you're probably not going to use Ezri or Troy, because I don't think they provide huge benefits. I really don't. But the benefits of maybe trying out putting Phlox in there over so crit reduction rather than crit addition, by putting on Honor Guard Wharf in there, those little few, you might want to throw one of your strike team officers on there just to get some additional bonuses. There are different things, obviously, that you can start to implement, and I think adding those officers back in and having that first time since PvP died with the introductions of the original strike team and then the absolute nail in the coffin with Carol Freeman, this is the first time where I think they've tried to put and implement a fix back into the game to start fixing PvP. And I'm really happy about that, because I want them to fix PvP, because I know lots of people really like it. I enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it when it's basically you scan the crew and you know if you're going to win or lose before you even press the attack button. I like there to be a little bit of causality within there. I like there to be a chance of me winning or a chance of me losing, and some of it coming down to crewing, stats, research, and things like that to make it better. So that's mine, and that's why. Silvus, you said you had an honourable mention. Has it already been mentioned?
No.
Okay, go on.
Syndicate. Grush and Mavery.
Very clever.
Two great officers that have very good sourcing. You can max them free to play in your late 30s, early 40s, depending on how long it takes you to get up to that level. But you can essentially get very good stats out of those officers, easily be able to tier them up because of the shards that are available. And the rest of the bonuses that come with the Syndicate branch are just incredible.
Arguably the fastest epic officers to max.
Potentially, the faction recruits, the Kirk, Gorkon, Euro might have them beat.
Especially because they throw shards at you now, don't they, in early game for the base officers. But okay,
you get 100 shards of Kirk just by doing the battle simulator.
Yeah, of course. So no, yeah, probably. But I think the sourcing for them absolutely outstanding. Really happy with those, and I think that's one thing that we didn't really talk about when we went back. Obviously, Minnie talks about sourcing for hers. We've currently got no proper sourcing for the Enterprise officers that I can think of off the top of my head.
Isomatter.
We have got
or the Galactic Recruit bundle as well.
The Galactic Recruit. Is there anywhere else, Silvus, where the Enterprises are?
No.
Because the Galactic Recruit bundle's only got 16 hours left at the time of recording, so God knows what's going to happen to that when that goes. So that might change and be updated. Okay, so they're our favourites. I think they're fantastic options as to where they are. And like I say, if you want to check out how to source those sort of things, check out the Silvus's officer sourcing sheet on our Discord, and you can find out how to source every single officer in the game if there is a sourcing path for it. If you've got somebody that you want to focus on and see how to do all that. Thank you so much to everybody. I will let you know that we are available on all major podcast platforms. If you are listening to us on Apple, please press the follow button, or on any podcast platform that you're on, press the follow button so that you get the next podcast automatically downloaded to your device, and leave us a 6 out of 5 star review and say some beautiful things about us. It gives us a lovely shot in the arm, which we need obviously to give us more motivation to keep doing this, because we really enjoy doing it. But just hearing from you, telling us how good we are, makes us feel a lot better. I'm only joking, you don't have to do that. Please join our Discord, as I've already mentioned. On there, you can get all of the tools that are created by Stewie Doo, obviously, who couldn't make it with us today. You can find all the charts that are from Silvus, and obviously all the other chart masters as well, Jules Verne, Blue Mandalorian, Kazel, all the sort of people. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Check out all of our other channels. So obviously on Twitch, you can find myself, It's Lube. You can find Mini Mabel on Twitch as well. You can come and watch us play STFC. Obviously YouTube, you can find myself on there. You can find our STFC content, plus our brand new farming content. I feel like I should get like a moo cow button that I could press when we talk about the farm, that just goes or something like that. No, anyway, moving on. Obviously, we've started to play Farming Simulator 2022, and obviously you've got the ability to come and play with us as well if you decide that you want to do that. You can find us, our website, itslube.com. You can pick yourself up some merch on there. Consider becoming a member at itslube.com, as well as picking up your t-shirts that Candy White has expertly created, which are absolutely fantastic. Get yourself a mug, a t-shirt, a coaster, anything like that. Go on there and do it, and think of becoming a member. Member will give you lots of benefits. The opportunity for you to come and be a guest on the podcast, if that's something that you would like to do, the opportunity to come and farm with us, and obviously you're supporting us financially, as well as picking up free merch on a periodic basis for your ongoing support. Thank you so much. I am going to say a massive thank you to our existing members right now as we sign out. So I'm going to say a massive thank you to Minnie, Antares, Sorella, Deja, Andy, KKC, Moth, Dr. Iron Chef, Virtual Army, SSJ, Texas Sky, Brexon, Roku, Killer Angel, and our latest member, Grumpy. Thank you so much to all of you for doing that. I want to say a huge thank you to our panel. Thank you so much to Silvus. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Minnie. And our special guest, Putzz. Again, thank you so much for stepping in. Really appreciate it. I hope you had a great time. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And remember, that absolutely everything is better with love. Take care. Have a wonderful evening. Bye, all.
Bye.